Welcome back to VCT Americas, where as impressive a first half as it was for this EG squad, it was doubly so for Crew on the back half as they pull that one back into contention and take it with an impressive defensive half there on Ascent.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about how lopsided each of these teams are when it comes to switching between attack and defense, and it's just a story that keeps getting told game and game again. And so far, both these teams have had pretty lopsided halves, pretty good. I mean, Kesnet finally woke up that second half.
What did he end with? What did he end with?
I actually don't know what is it final. We'll have it because we asked for those stats. Before we get to Kesnet popping off, I just want to give a quick nod to Melzer, who was the more consistent member of the squad, even through the first half. This is going all the way back to round 10, where he pulled out some magic to even keep it as close as it was at an 8-4 half.
And in hindsight, that round was worth its weight in gold. I mean, and I said it before the game, Melzer on Ascent, his rotates and just how he moves around the map is so good. He had that dry peek from Wine that one time that caught Jogamo and main. The ult rotating to B, won them that round as well. Just huge rounds coming out of Melzer right there.
Yeah, I mean, it got to a point where it looked like he was kind of like the king of Wine. Like, he was just there, like, for the rest of the half.
That's the kind of king I want to be, by the way. The king of Wine.
King of Wine.
That's what I strive for.
Maybe you should call someone about that. But literally, he just had A main on lock. He was not letting anyone in. And the second that they kind of started letting them into the site, they realized, hey, let's just play retake. Let's fast flood his site. And that last round just showed, like, their floods were insane.
That fast flood last round was crazy. There's 4 people coming out of heaven before EG could even get situated.
Yeah, end of the day, Melzer's performance kind of bridged the gap for Kesnet to finally turn it on, right? Because we showed how abysmal his first half was, finding only 1 kill in the final round in a losing round. And then just like that, he starts popping off on the back half and quickly climbs the boards.
And this clutch right here early on against Calm, this was an eco where Calm used his Hunter's Fury. So that one-on-one was so big in this comeback. And it just kept coming. Kesnet just did not let his foot off the gas all half.
Yeah, I know for certain he put up 14 kills in the first 7 rounds of the second half. So that was 2 kills per round he's averaging just to kick off the back half. And in the end, you can see it there. His KDA jumps to near 3.0 after picking up only 1 kill. And up to 386 ACS on defense.
Crazy.
What?
It's actually a crazy.
How's that the same map? That's the same map with all the rounds played.
That is so gross. And honestly, I was gonna try and ask you guys, like, what could EG have done? But when somebody's performing like that individually, I'm not sure there's a way you outstrat that. You know, you can't get more creative than headshots. Like, you can't out-creative that.
He was catching a lot of timings and just his positioning moving around. I like the positioning moving on Cat that one round that Demon had 1 blade left, and you see the bait set up with the KO right next to him. Kesnet is just a master at moving around the map and understanding those angles on the defensive side. It all looked so easy in the highlight package. Those kills were free.
Yeah.
Only thing I'll say for the EG side, especially on the back half, is it felt like the pressure was getting to them near the end, right? Maybe a couple forced decisions. You heard Riv kind of questioning how does Spike end up in hell on the map winning round there for Crew. So maybe feeling a little bit of dysenergy at the end underneath all of the pressure, but either way, it's a tough call to make.
Yeah, I mean, at the end there, we started feeling like, we were talking about Demon 1 on that defense half, kind of getting kills and repositioning. He said he was doing a really, really solid job at that. And then we kind of saw Kesnet do the same but better. So I think that's kind of how it ended up. I mean, I don't think there was a way that they could have pushed them off, honestly. I think Kesnet just absolutely dominated. He was really smart with the way that he played it, and just everything about the way that he played and rotated around his teammates, and the fact that his team as a whole just read it perfectly. Like, they knew, they were like, okay, they're gonna hit A again, let's just fast flood, let's fix our Cat, let's fix this. And every single time, it's just like they were ready to counter the way that EG was playing before EG even knew what to do.
Well, Crew and close matches seem to go hand in hand. They've lost 2 close matches already, but Nagzet is confident that the team is finding their footing. Take a look.
El Crew antiguo es un equipo que no partió ganando todo. Era un equipo que se demoró en encontrar su identidad, y una vez que lo logramos, después de como un año, se empezó a jugar mucho más cómodo y nos sentíamos mucho más cómodos jugando en stage, y Siento que está pasando lo mismo en este equipo. Hemos tenido muchos cambios a principio de año y estamos a punto de encontrar nuestra identidad, lo siento, porque hemos tenido muy buenos días de entrenamiento, así que siento que pronto se va a dar en torneo.
So, claims that we'll be seeing that identity soon enough. Do you feel like, Sean, through 2 maps here, that this is going to be the series that helps define that, or are you still left searching for a few things from them?
I like what I heard right there. He said based on the scrims. So they have that vision, right? It's happening already. It's happening behind closed doors. We're just not aware of those changes that they've made and how successful they are. But in practice, they're seeing it already. So that is a very optimistic sign if you're a Crew fan. And I'm willing to always side on the side of practice when I hear those things come from the players. I was big on Leviathan actually in Lock-In because of that. And I'm going to say, if he's saying that, then I think I would probably favor them going to the 3rd map.
Very cool. I'll expand this question to you, Athena, as a player yourself. Like, do you feel like, or how do I want to ask this? We as viewers, right, we get robbed of so much of the data, right, in terms of scrims, right? Like, we see 18 games or something, right, over the course of a season, and you're playing hundreds. How often do you find that, like, the results that we're seeing, the standings as they are in the league at any given moment, actually accurately reflect what's going on in scrims?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to say because scrims is a good time to kind of see your opponent's play style and really understand, like, their comps, the way that they use their players, the way that they use their map space, the way that they default. There's, like, a lot of aspects when it comes to scrimming against a team that if they're showing their hand and you're also showing your hand, at the end of the day, what the matches come down to is genuinely who can read each other better. And I think that's why it is a pretty good read on, like, how teams are and how the skills are and, like, the standings. So I think it is a good way to showcase it. I think it works. But at the same time, when it comes to scrims, like, people are in their comfort zone.
There are flaws.
And so there are flaws,
sure.
yeah. Like, people in their comfort zone, you kind of play the way you play, and then when it comes to performing, you might feel the pressure and just, like, completely underperform.
Well, and like we said, maybe pressure getting to EG in that 2nd map. Either way, we go to map 3. As we talked about earlier, it's going to be Fracture, maybe a small edge towards Crew. I lean towards a team that is more aggressive like that. And if Kesnit's finding his shots like he was in the 2nd half, and he's got 4 different points of entry instead of maybe just 2 towards a couple different sites, like, that becomes a scary thing to have to try and deal with.
I'm going to say this, though, Dash. When EG played this Fracture map earlier in this season, their Fracture was very good. They won both pistols. They lost both 2nd rounds of their halves, and they still put 9 on the board. Com plays the Sova, and he has these crazy lineups on the defender side for, like, north side pushes and bottom pushes. And I don't think most pro teams are comfortable playing against Sovas on Fracture. It's very rare. So you're not as aware of where those darts are coming in or how to break them. And because of that, if EG do go with that again, it's going to get weird. It's going to get weird. I'm going to say that.
We live for weird here. What are your thoughts, Athena, in terms of the way these 2 teams will match up specifically on this map?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I think EG is definitely finding their footing, but Crew kind of looked a lot more put together. So I'm kind of expecting Crew to kind of be, you know, maybe unprepared for the Sova, but at the end of the day, they could bring it back, have that teamwork makes the dream work moment, and really pull it out of the bag.
My boy Cypher's back in the meta. Let's
like
go.
it.
Let's go. We knew we couldn't get 2 chambers, so something had to happen there with the grayed out picks.
A Fade Breach.
Fade a breach.
This is these are both unique comps right now in the Fracture meta. I like Crew's choice here. I like the Fade Breach combo with the Raze. Oh, this is going to be such an interesting game because Crew hasn't even played Fracture since I think like August of last year. So there is hardly any footage of this team on this map. And they bust out a weird comp.
All right, weird comp, and it's where you got to put all the marbles. It's the final map of the series. It's Evil Geniuses and Crew. Both teams still hunting for their first series victory here in VCT Americas. Back over to Vancillion Rib one more time for the call.
Weird comms, but hopefully good comms in this 3rd map. Final one for Fracture between these 2 teams of EG and Crew. Another game, Riv, where we get to witness and going to the distance. 13-11, 13-11 from 2 maps. Now we get the third one. Is it going to go to overtime? I mean, I feel that's...
Absolutely. We need to get at least
blessing.
three overtimes in here for this to actually be a Revans cast. So getting in here, third map between Crew and EG. We saw the compositions, and I think we just looked last time. It was a neon and a chamber over here for Crew, so they are obviously spinning that roulette to figure out a new composition. And Demon 1 on the Brimstone with Calm as well on the Sova. I love that talk about the Sova on the desk.
Yes.
There's so many levels to fire of Hunter's Fury, so many places to hide behind and figure it out. So a lot of times you don't get the Sova. So let's see how it works out.
And that didn't get too much value off those Hunter's Furies, though. So we're hoping that gets rushed off here by Combo. We're starting things off with EG pushing down.
What?
Off the fault line assist from Ethan, but Melzer was waiting for that. So the first blood for Crew into the round.
Melzer re-peeked as well on the stun. He was like, nope, that doesn't bother me. I'm Brimstone. 4 underneath. The re-hit to come in as they are watching the flank, and they've really got EG sorted now, moving across the map. EG thinks it's a hit to the other side, and joke's on EG. Here goes Crew into B.
Not into that contact, so Jogimo's actually rotating back towards
Nice
Arcade. The
flashes.
pitches are coming through. You need a strong hold from Ethan, but gets instantly popped by Kesnet inside the site. Great util to push out the defenders. Pain shells. Calm actually gets a nice shock dart, but yet it's just too much. A 2 versus 3. Plant comes down for Crew. Retake attempt now for Demon 1 and Calm. Fault line and Flash. Ready and waiting as soon as the smoke dissipates on the defense. There it is, Klaus with the Sheriff. And Demon 1 has to come up huge with this Ghost. I mean, there's gonna be a haunt, then there's gonna be a tap and a flash. There's that swing. And there's the round for Crew.
Didn't have any of those pistols last game, but they find the first one here in the third map. 2 Phantoms, 3 Phantoms.
Oh, we're fighting.
Oh my gosh, they are going on the W. All right, EG picks up one of those, and we could easily have a round. Crew feels bad about buying those. What's the positioning? North side for everybody. They're going on Arcade. They brought their quarters for this one. Full push through. They actually might gamble right into this trap of Evil Geniuses if they're able to set it up with 3 on the other side. Gonna get spicy quick. Another trap as well from Boostio on the right.
Haunt though spots Jogimo. Their Phantoms are pushed back. Nice pain shells onto Kesnet.
How long do they stay to gather a gun though? Do they go back to that position? I think Crew protects it for just as long, right?
Yeah. I think you want to hold this spot too, just to protect whatever weapons that they had on Kesnet, salvaging at least the Phantoms moving forward later into the round.
Yeah, that's going to be watched over by Nags. No problem about losing that. The Death Ball of Classics stay together for EG. We'll see if they can add some cheese to this classic.
Which is fair. Fault line back available for Ethan. As now the lurk comes in.
Goodbye.
15 HP left on Nags end. Meanwhile, all the rest of EG are falling down. More econ damage if you can. 40 seconds left. Macom is now pinned. Aftershock to flush him out. That could have been a different story, though, if Nags actually did get picked off on that lurk.
How do they go about this round? There's members with 0 credits on the side of Crew there. So Evil Geniuses is going to feel really good about this buy, even though Crew has the first 2. And they know if they lost the players, it'd be a lower buy. So they got to play this accordingly. Still a strat towards B. Nothing put up on the other side. They may be calling the audible here. Usually we see if Nags is going to go towards the north side, they put the cam up. Oh, okay. He just wanted to come back to put the cam. A reconsideration of what flank will be watched. He'll do it personally on the top side.
Kesnet's already running up. Ping to break the tower, the turret. And now orbs will be collected. It was actually 2 Sheriffs. You mentioned what economy we had here for Crew. Not too much. So getting these orbs might be the plan. Maybe find this ultimate for Davies, get the Rolling Thunder, create that space for those Phantoms to move in. But Jogimo wants to prevent that. Moved all the way up towards A halls. There's the contact and the paint shells to delay them even more.
Oh, that's big.
Fault line! Ooh, the spray. Couldn't get the kill. And he's the one that comes out more damaged.
They maybe go back to B on this after all the pressure. They destroyed the Killjoy utility just a bit ago, but they're only tempting A. They haven't gone in.
Ethan with the off angle, trying to get pushed out.
Oh, they're going
with
in.
Support from Jogimo, the kill too. But we fight back. Nagzak on the alert from drop. A 3 versus 3 comes in. Let's make that a 2 versus 2. To set up at least to guarantee some sort of plant or attempt some sort of plant into the A site. As finally Melzer's moving in. Melzer's also moving in when he already has the orbital strike. So maybe trying to get him off site would be a huge one.
Oh, he's gonna use it.
Already has it out. Looking to use it off potentially even the trap.
Yeah.
Getting shot.
Right in front of the site. Yeah, right in front of the site.
Demon though,
One
still
enemy remaining.
perfect trades from both of these teams. Busio on a 1 versus 1. Sentinel rolls on both. Busio flicks it for the kill. EG comes back for the defuse, the first round on the board. But for both teams, it's looking that Crew has way more economy moving into the next round.
Yeah, the way the round was played, right? It was only Sheriffs. They weather the storm, still losing everybody. But they will be able to buy even though they lose the round. It's playing the game that you're thinking about ahead, right? Setting everything into place, even if you have a bit of trouble. Even though they have trouble this round, the buy comes in for them on the second one. And really nicely played there by EG to get back in, play it slow, and realize they were going to get hit by the orbital strike. Bustio clears it. As we just see Nags kind of get caught by a wisp of smoke there in the last frag.
There's potentially some sort of play to try to get Jogimo back into some positioning. Trying to get an orb on top of that. Meanwhile, 3 players of EG just stacked up towards the A long. So nobody watching the north side. The pinch comes in, allowing the showstopper to come out, letting right in front of Keston. Somehow a flash still comes through. Jogimo gets picked off, and the smoke comes down from the Brimstone outside of Melzer before he gets picked off to allow Crew to fall back.
God, look what all the action is on the beginning of this, right where Crew spawns. EG instantly pinches in, and Crew is forced to activate a strategy now, moving towards B site, 3v3 situation.
Busio blinded, the jump spot, trying to get the spray. Now push away from the aftershock, but there's the pinch. The flank coming out from Klaus. Pushing out towards Canteen, the backstep in the kill. Calm is so low on HP. Thankfully, at least Demon 1 is able to pick up a Phantom. Oh, the timing on this. He's gonna get this one, the headshot to Keston, forcing out the early rolling thunder. Trying to get a stun kill if he can. It's all up to the rookie. Launching smoke. The tryout. Moving now into this B site. Fault line now caused to be used by Davey as Demon 1 taps onto that spike. Flash still available. Demon 1 gets it halfway, walking into the smoke. Klaus gets the sneaky kill. Just an unfortunate showstopper there coming out from Jogimo.
I think that shows how much chaos was actually in that instance, in the atmosphere when they were pressuring Spawn. And yeah, Evil Genius is pressuring Spawn that early into the round. So it's getting wild here. And looking at this Crew composition, it becomes so oppressive with having the fade now. We don't actually see that much fade lately with the Sky we have coming in. So these combos we're getting, we remember how good fade is at just kind of laying that utility out. If you're in a 1v1, you're basically done. But if you layer that with Breach, you layer that with the rushes forward and Kesnet being up front. Yeah, Crew has the answer right now for any of the defense EG's put up. It's been a low buy though for EG. Few of these rounds due to Crew's attacking. But we'll see guns back. 2 ults for EG here to stave off one of these hits. As Crew goes now from Arcade underneath, that flank is still watched by Nags. And picked up by Nags too. They've been waiting for the EG push almost every time, Van Silly.
Big ult to get all of that information. Crew now seeing that it's a passive play from the EG members out towards the spawn. Pain shells even to clear out more space. No sprays, no kills through sprays. That's been the underlying storyline, at least, to start in this series. And Hunter's Fury actually does get a ping and a kill. A 3 versus 3 with the spike going down. Demon 1 catches Klaus running across for a plant at default. Nice recon dart as well, coming out from Calm. Pushing Keston back into a default spot, and the trade comes through. What amazing utility there for EG on that hold on the B site.
Had to delay, needed to layer it perfectly, not on top, but one after the other. And they pick up ults within that round. So EG still has answers to keep coming in, keep this roll of rounds going. And I love that dart. It's fired at the top of Canteen. Really cheeky there to be able to get close and far in the sight of how it would read for the 30 meters there on the recon bolt. All right. All the eyes looking to A for Crew, but EG continues to take this A hall space. There's always a fight to find, and that fault line is big.
Kesnet was the one trying to find that fight. Now as EG wants to fight back, Boombot getting the kill at the Klaus, giving the advantage for EG. Just brace the smoke. That's what I'm talking about.
Also, identifying the blast pack happened and to instantly know you would find Kesnet door. EG acted on that in just moments.
Well, it was a lower buy for Crew.
Yeah.
Melzer and Nags, at least for their troubles, could do a little bit more damage if they can. Well, they still have the spike on their back. They still have the map to work with. Or potentially in their sights.
Gun here.
And even EG forfeiting their positions, allowing potential guns to get picked up here from Crew after this initial fight that happened towards A main.
Yeah. So EG has been retaliating really well. If we look at how the rounds are playing out, when the reads from previous maps to now, where EG has been
30 seconds
able
left.
to pinch their opponents, able to follow opponents across maps from the series we've seen. It was all about finishing. It was coming together during the fight. They seem to have shored up that side of the battle.
Last player standing.
Melzer made it behind at least for a bit, but it's a stinger. It's a stinger that only stings Calm, still turns around for the kill. EG ties up the game 3-3 with a lot of players alive.
Much more orchestrated in how EG is playing these situations. Like you said, right place, right time to have these things play in your favor. Really reading the pressure well. Like the push forward, Jogamo's utility through that, how much they need to get to dedicate to the smokes. Everything seems to be playing out there to get these few rounds back.
Yeah.
Top side. So actually it's all 5 on the same side for once this time for Crew here. They're really set to try and take a fight here on North.
And Ethan just wanted to fight back right away too. Fault line to push them out. Jogamo moving forward, trying to find some information with the Boombot.
So much arcade control.
Yeah, seems to be the early game plan for Crew, definitely.
It's a reclear, right? You force them to use all of that utility again, or at least a bit, to get into this site, hurting their second layer, hurting the re-hit. That was close. Little damage on both sides. Rolling Thunder goes through, and they're forced to back up on the side of Crew. So EG using one of their 2 ults here.
We're continuing to push and pull.
Yeah.
In this moment from both of these teams. But now, little by little, the utilities dwindling for EG on this initial fight, on the attempt of a hold towards Arcade. And Crew's gonna try it for a 3rd time. So it's Calm on a jiggle. Now fault line. The Crew not really satchelating into that. It's just still using utility to push him back. Oh no, Ethan might get caught, but flicks back for the kill onto Kesnet. 30 seconds left on the clock. Jogamo fighting in. A trade comes off. As Calm is still holding up towards the B heavens. There was a lockdown being used
Spike down.
that would not allow Hero Crew to get into the site, with the exception of this. Melzer with the lurk kill, but there's only 10 seconds left.
10 seconds left.
Yep, that button works.
Tactical dance. Nice.
Round still comes in for EG as they take the lead now on Fracture.
Another few ultimates allowing them to acquire these rounds. And yeah, I think you were right. The Ethan kill was really the start of that debacle for Crew.
1 HP.
Once he wasn't even looking the right way, 3 coming up lane, and once you were able to stop that push from lane, Sight didn't have the control of B main and the tower that they wanted. We actually saw Nags rushing late into tower just to meet someone's Vandal. So you saw how chaotic it got for Crew that round, and strategy not being able to put to fruition, or come to fruition, I should say. 4-3 here. 3 rounds now for EG. They felt this from Crew on the last map. They could not find a way in, but here they have an answer for everything Crew is bringing. Rush towards Satellite, bit of a partial buy here. Kessin down the Hero Phantom. If they can get an early kill, that Cypher ultimate's gonna pay off big here. A little delay. Yeah, it looks like they will gamble. Not really gamble. 3-2 stack for EG. They don't have to worry about this low buy. Playing it smart.
Yeah. Kisnet with the kill. An ult from Nags. Potentially even a plant coming out from Melzor Davies. They could be looking pretty good into this round. So Kisnet still is looking for this first blood. Swings down, but it's stopped by Demon 1.
The prediction right now to slow down
Smoke's
Crew.
down.
Actually fantastic. Just considering how they play off of, seeing Kesnet on the other side. If there wasn't much noise after that, it could be a hit on the other side. Just all of the things EG is thinking based on seeing one person we're seeing as they use their utility off the actual play. And this spike is still milling about under Arcade as we see Davies coming back up, whether he's going to meet with the team or not here.
30 seconds
It was a
left.
pivot towards the A site from a weapon pickup and then a turret getting shot from both ends of the A site. And there's a slow rotation from EG out there. They push forward to take control of Tree, but Crew is slowly, once again, moving out from the Arcade side. Ethan getting hit by a fault line. After shot to push him out too.
10 seconds
Hits
left.
off here by Klaus. 7 seconds left. Calm is looking for the shock darts right into the spot.
Planted.
And Jogmo's fighting on the flanker. Full moving in close with the shorty. Jogmo is able to get that kill.
Molly.
Showstopper available, might be used, and there it comes. Just to try to get back into the site. Misses his satchel as he moves
Enemy
forward.
remaining.
Not even need it. It's just to instill fear while Demon 1
Exactly.
comes in to get those 2 kills. And EG take the lead by 2 rounds.
Van Silly, you said that just even today or a series ago. You want to see the showstopper held
Yeah.
a little bit more. Add the pressure, right? Having a giant rocket on your arm is pretty freaky for everybody else. And we actually see there, Dogamo switches off it to then again uses Vandal. So really nice use of the pressure there. Like you said, didn't even have to use it anyways.
Yeah.
If he really did have to fire it off. But Crew with the timeout. Sort out how to use 4 ultimates now under their belt as they come into this round. The only one they're missing is the showstopper. So this is going to be big. Potter probably saying the same thing. Prepare for this. Be on your toes. This is going to be a big one. A lot of the rounds Crew has tried to facilitate have started at Arcade, seeing how much room they can get or util out of this fight between what is Jogamo, Demon, and Calm, or sort of that, Jogamo and Calm, and one other. So maybe this fight towards Arcade is something we still see, or that A main extremity. Top side of the map, Satellite has only seen a bit here. So the map has been played out by Crew on the offensive side, and EG seems to be setting up right.
I also like the differences here from the Sova from Calm versus that Faye from Klaus. Both of them, by the way, at the top of the scoreboard for their respective teams. But they are definitely using a lot of these haunts to really clear towards the Arcade very quickly for Crew. The only thing that happens after that, though, is that EG has great utility from Jogimo and from Ethan just to push them back and keep them from even moving forward into the Arcades, forcing the clock to dwindle down, forcing Crew to make mistakes into the sites. And that's where the Sova could actually still come in quite big for EG, because if you're going into those last minute hits and you're doing smokes into the sites and you're moving in, you have an opportunity to do the Ethan flash with a recon dart into sight, and it becomes like that Cypher play, trying to get trap kills through the smoke and prevent the opponents from really moving in. We haven't really seen that yet coming out from EG. Wasn't really needed as of yet, because the aggression that they've been really bringing into the fights have been helping them out to get these 5 rounds so far.
Yeah, feeling free to step forward and cover each other. And that's basically how the Ethan round came to be, as he walks away with 1 HP on that. Operator for Boostio here on the Killjoy against all of these ultimates. Look at that. Kesnet up front, giving the team a pep talk. Turns, and they're prepared.
By the way, during the timeouts, or during the tech pause, Jogmo actually used one of his satchels by accident, so he has 1 less. So let's see how that's gonna pan out. So far, that's not the storyline. It's Melzer getting the opening kill onto Boostio.
So close. Right on the stairs. Like we said, EG's pushing up to figure out where these situations are happening, and on top of the tripwire is Jogamo, waiting for the team to... Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Oh! swings across.
No, he doesn't die there. Nagsat, you're ridiculous.
Open sight. And the second ping now open sight on B. Time for Crew to move in.
Wow, what a bit of a slip up there by Jogamo. This is going to be a good round for Crew to nicely get in. Only have to worry about 3 guns here, so may have a
They're
flawless.
saving this for sure.
Yeah. So a flawless round to come through. They quickly switch that up, and what felt like EG doing the push-up, having the advantage here, they get caught off guard, and you can't really call for it. You can't call for that, right?
No.
Just the timing of it, and a quick flick there by Nags to make sure this round did not go out of control, because that could easily be much different.
Yeah, you definitely had one of those rarer rounds where you were defaulting back towards the south side of the map here for Crew, and EG tried to take advantage of that, putting an off into Boostio, trying to get an early lane cover into tree from Boostio, and gets caught instantly trying to peek down.
It was funny, as we went into this Van Silly, we said there's 4 ults for Crew. There's nearly 4 ults for Crew as they're waiting on Kesnitz here. Only 1 used on that round, so EG still has to be very worried about how these play out.
Yeah.
They're going to be facing a lot of firepower here. 3-2. Looks like they're keep on to that right. Both initiators on B here for Evil Geniuses, so definitely a style of retake play that they're looking for. Usually you don't keep your initiators up for the early fight unless we're going to get an Ethan or a Com peek off stairs.
There's a lot of pressure happening towards this dish and also towards Arcade. Recon Dart being set up here by Com to clear up that north side. Fault line coming in from both ends. And it's a Hunter's Fury that pings out 3 players with the Recon Dart, looking for the kill. Gets it out to Klaus. Meanwhile, we're pushing up towards the north side too. It's being watched by Melzer. Walking away, and EG wants to give that up. They want to play to player's advantage, playing passively towards the B site so we could retake here on the plant.
In this call for the push north side, all of the utility for Nags is on that bottom side of the map. If they continue here for EG, they could gain some great ground. And I think Jogamo's going to figure that out. It's still towards that B site. Still going to be a full retake, but they may have some decent positioning here.
Spike planted.
To come around Arcade. Spike planted. The 4v4 here as we retake. 2 stairs, 2 tower. Interesting for Crew. It can easily be snuffed out here.
Bomb buddy out.
Kesnit got a kill through smoke, so that's Ethan a fall of 4 versus 4. Ouch. Yeah, those pain shells, they're definitely gonna hurt. Ult coming out across.
Yeah.
The lineup from Jogimo, catching them both. Both ults on the attack now wasted. The retake attempt for EG, a 2 versus 2. It's the last 2 players of Crew are playing outside the site at long. Satchel's in. The trap wire hit.
Not half.
The Satchel not allowing that plant to happen, and it's right through the smokes. Crew fights back with the last 2 players. It's Kesnit and Nags to tie up the game 5-5.
Is that Kesnit coming through for a quick kill on the smoke there before the retake initially happened? Somebody stepped through that smoke and got a pivotal frag on the round. Absolutely cheeky. You expect for everybody to be outside the site, no peeks through smoke until the defuse tap comes through, but you need everything. You need to play the tricks. And that was a pivotal kill to take that round away from Evil Genius's retake. Smokes and all were down, and it looked very much in favor of EG. A timeout gets called here. 5-5 here in our first half as we continue to go back and forth in the rounds, Van Silly. Even with a big push towards the top side of the map, Crew is still moving quick enough and sure enough to their positions that these flanks from EG aren't really affecting them yet. So I feel like EG either needs to eventually get something out of those pushes and not be okay with just silence, or stay in the sights and not push.
Maybe you'll be okay with that silence at least for now, because that early pressure that's coming out from Crew towards the Arcade.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good pressure coming back, and we mentioned it before, the fight that comes out from Ethan, but he had support from Jogimo, not just a Hunter's Fury with that. So if they continue to do that and really push Crew back and run that clock down, as we mentioned before, then with the last minute hit this time to hit towards the B site, could be denied now by Demon 1's orbital strike. But I mean, that's a lot of layers that have to come through, you have to have the perfect call into this, and you're looking at Crew, at least for this round, not leaning towards the Arcade push. It's the south side default again.
It's super different. How many rounds now for the last 4 or 5 rounds? So Crew going back here. I think they stopped because EG was putting so much pressure here. You saw Jogamo and the rest of the team popping out and trying to fight this the whole time. got to expect it again.
Yeah.
There's Jogamo to get in their face. So yeah, they say, no, never mind, it's still there. Gonna go for a rope ride all the way across. Satellite's covered right now, so a little safer on this one. They won't find anybody waiting for them on that side. Camera to cover on their arcade. And we're gonna get a top side hit here. This has been pretty beneficial for Crew on their ability to get into the site from this backside arcade.
And same execution and difficult part right now is that you have a nightmare, so playing this B Heaven is gonna be quite dangerous for Boostio. A spray across. Demon 1 gets the frag out to Davies. A great start. This is just waiting to see if there's going to be more noise. Boosters just winning across. Nags it with the lurk. About to catch Calm.
Trick shot.
Jargamo comes under the drop. The flash to put Nagzet away. The pings are coming across, and we're playing it safely.
Kesnet?
Push and pull all the time here. Another lurk on the other extremity, now spotted by Demon
30
1.
seconds left.
It pulls away Ethan, and there's that nightfall inside the A site. Spokes now to leave Jogamo on an island, but an orbital strike slows down that push. Naxa, and should I say Kesden, has to come up huge now from the A main. There's only 14 seconds left on the clock. The drop comes down, looking for the second. The spike
10
falls.
seconds left.
Pain shells now coming in. Ethan's just trying to survive, run that clock down. Had support from Demon 1. And EG, you're regaining the
Last
lead.
round before the switch.
Vans, you called it there. EG seeing Kesnet at B made Ethan start to rotate. And he was all the way in spawn. When this hit started happening, he still dove as fast as he could to under drop to make that play. It looks super sketchy, but Demon 1 also assisted with the orbital strike to allow that positioning to come in. Really snuffing out Crew's hit on that take. Beautifully done. EG having to call the audible there. And nice fake by Crew. Almost clicked. Almost clicked there. Now to bottom side, it's a pretty good W. Turbo off the gates from Crew.
Feels like deja vu. Walking up here, trying to make that turret, but it misses. We're spraying back from EG. This time the storyline differs a bit into the round, or differs a bit into this round, because that turret's still up, and it's Crew deciding to go back underpass to meet up for an arcade hit.
Early smokes from Demon 1. You see this deeper smoke a little bit towards the attacker spawn to deny, and then a close for any rush in. So using those as soon as possible to delay Crew's speed.
Here.
Looking for some darts, looking for the util, and it's coming in. EG to defend B now.
Busio's pinging for that recon dart. Eventually,
Missed him.
when the hit's about to come in. But this is just noise for now. Busio getting the spike carrier down. A second one with the flick onto Melzer. Haunt finally spots him, and that allows Kesnet to get the kill. Satchel in, nags it on the lurk. The hat then comes out. The 3 versus 3. Now Calm is alone inside A, getting pushed from this fade. Klaus is looking for the backstab, and the aftershock to try to push Kesnet away. And there's that lurk, there's that backstab. And the last 2 players that were spotted by the neural theft of EG are trying to move back in for the fight. Fault line did into spawn, a tap onto the spike. Jogamo looking at both angles. Oh, misses the first, but gets a showstopper. Gets a low range, hits it onto Klaus. EG get the defuse on the 1 versus 1, the long range. Klaus saw that rocket in his life flash before his eyes. And it's gonna be EG winning the half by 2 rounds.
This first kill, it made me think that there was a mistiming from Crew, right? To see Davies just sitting there looking up at what was the turret, that's almost B main's job when they come up the stairs. So a little mistiming there allowed Busio just to look over, take it out, end that round 7-5. Dash Desk, what do you guys think of that first half?
I'll be honest, Riv, at this point, we're just sitting here enjoying all the action. About as close a half as you can get. Yes, 7-5. It's the heat-seeking missile there at the end of the half. That does give EG a small round advantage, but really, these teams are going tit for tat at the moment.
They really are. I think, honestly, the util that I've seen from Jogamo is what's impressed me the most. He got like 4 paint shell kills that half. That was really cool to see. Calm's darts getting a lot of value. The one Riv pointed out in Canteen was really cool to see. And then his ult play topside. Crew was really down to have these battles, though. They were down to just waste util at the chokes in these skirmishes and then just enter the sites dry and try to trade the kills. And honestly, it worked pretty well, Avina.
Yeah, I mean, all these rounds looked kind of crazy, kind of chaotic, but it did usually work out towards the end. Like the amount of util that was being dumped in order to get any control of any part of the sites, the mains, the chokes, the retakes, the post plants, everything. Every single time there was a ton of util being used, and all the time, you know, not necessarily being used in benefit, but there were still plays, little micro plays being made off of them, and allowing individuals to kind of pop off and play the way that they normally do play and like perform. And I think that that's something that was really, really fun to watch for sure. Definitely a little chaotic to watch, but fun.
But chaos is fun to watch, right? I mean, that's what we live for as viewers. Coaches maybe might think a little differently, right? You know, they're like, hey, can we please get a little bit more like consistent, some form to our to the chaos that's going on here? Either way, Crew's gonna have to fight back from a small deficit here on the defensive half, but nothing that's insurmountable. And based on what we saw them do on Ascent, I think it's entirely possible that they could get it done. I think Kesnit's a person that I'm looking at because he had another slow start early in the half here on that raise.
And with the raise, fade, breach, A main should be really easy for Crew to dominate all half. But I don't have much experience with drones coming through. So honestly, Calm might be able to take that from him.
Yeah, look, end of the day, we're just here to enjoy the battle between two teams that feel like they have taken the gloves off, and they are throwing haymakers, trying to get a win on the board here and start to climb up the standings. It's Evil Geniuses and Crew one last time as we head back onto Fracture with Vansili and Riv at the helm.
That's right, Dash. Both teams right now just throwing the gloves away. Fist fights pretty much into the last rounds of this bout. For one of these teams to finally come out the victor, to get the first victory in the VCT Americas, it's between EG and Crew, and it cannot be any closer than this.
Gotta start somewhere. There's a lot of the teams up at the top of that table. You gotta take tabs from, learn from. But right now, EG's done their homework here to have a 7-5 first half and an aggressive start to half number 2. Can they get the pistol this time?
Just breaking that util if we can here. Oh, even a camera to ping one, and it's staying on the outside.
What?
Demon still gets a plant though. It doesn't matter here at this point because EG's now playing the pulse plant. Calm rotating even on the other end. Boostio playing close out in the open and vulnerable to a canteen push. Nags it, then moving forward, and still Boostio manages to get a pick there. Numbers are dwindling down towards this A site. Demon just trying to bait his opponents. The hot then comes out, but it doesn't matter. He still gets that frag onto Davies. Dance it across. Calm gets caught with a shock dart in his hands. A nice little fault line that comes through, but it's still gonna be Calm on a 2 versus 1, but cannot get it. Shock dart almost did some damage to allow the assist for the kill. But it's still Crew that will come in for the defuse and the pistol.
Nags needs a high five on this round. A camera that stayed up at B main wasn't used till late in the round to identify Calm. So when Nags could then identify Calm in this situation, your 2 players on site can worry about only tower. That's all they needed to do. Then they worry about B main. That camera that Crew just used allowed them to sort out the site perfectly. It's the little things that they're using to get the advantage. Play towards B here, we could see from EG. Top side is going to be held by Boostio. We'll probably see this quite a bit with this 4-1 now for EG, since they don't have the Cypher to stay away from that, or get away from the util, I should say.
And while it's slow here for EG, you gotta say that that was a nice little attempt for EG.
Oh, yeah.
With that plant down at the bottom of the staircase, you saw that the protocols is really to try to play the shock dart lineups down towards long B. But even better for Crew to identify that, to allow Nags to push down the staircase and catch his opponent off guard. So when Sean was wondering if Crew was able to play against the Silva, I think that you got an answer right there.
You gotta find where the Silva is if they're still alive at the end, absolutely. For sure, 100%. A little push here. I think Boostio is now going to alert Crew at A. There's a little bit of action, and the B hit will come in. So he does get his smoke. It doesn't feel like they're buying it though. Look at the rotation from Davies. He's like, I don't think so. Yeah, they kill Boostio, and they're over for the rotate.
Trying to get a play, at least to catch some players off guard inside spawn. The Crew just too strong, play more passively, playing the off angle. At least we get a plant down. That's pretty good for EG moving into the next round. Some damage being done on top of that with some right clicks. Close range at the generator. Almost even a 3rd kill. But instantly, in a span of like what, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
We're already tied up 7-7.
Cash monies. So pistol round again for Crew. They take the second one here. judge there for Melzer. Probably see him back in that tower area, if not playing towards A. And what are the buys? Demon 1 already on that ult. Focusing the orbs. Seems like the Orbital Strike is going to be a big player here for the side of Evil Geniuses in their rounds. Demon 1 getting plants and taking orbs. Taking names. Melzer's 1 away too. Split across with arcade focus here from Crew. They're just going to allow Nags to play Cypher in A. And look, I love the play of Melzer. You keep your brim in mid, smoke either side. Easy peasy. Melzer starts to move now to one side. Maybe he was just chilling, actually.
There.
Here's this push. Spike is in a very scary spot, Vansili.
Yeah. Well, Ethan hears all of that.
Uh-oh.
Still playing the off angle here. First kill onto Kesnet. Will get support from Jogamo right after from the satchel.
Yeah.
Turns out to be pretty good. Fault line to stun Ethan, but that's a bait here to allow Jogamo to potentially get the kill onto Klaus. But only some love taps coming in. The idea there to get in a shock dart to push opponents back from the arcade. It still works. Crew still decided to fall back into the round. Which will now initiate a 3-2 split. A hit into the A site. Wow. It's all that util moving inside the A site. Deep smokes too. Into the spawn and also towards Sands.
All right. Mostly a Sands retake here, Vansili. They're waiting for the smokes to come down and they go.
The fault line is going to stun Boostio. Now the first contact hit by the judge, but Demon 1 is there right behind for the crossfire. The bonus round looks really good here for EG. Managing to survive the round with 4 players.
Yep. Orbital Strike, Hunter's Fury up for the next round here as they take Crew on the bonus. We could see dueling Orbital Strikes and a really nice retake with Demon able to come around there from the back of, or I should say the start of A main, knowing that there would be an entry from that Sands area. It's the little things that the teams are setting up here to pull away. Credits definitely not in favor of Crew here, so this becomes a big round.
Right here.
Last one's Evil Geniuses, so on top of those credits you see for Crew, they get 2,400 if they lose this one. It could be tough.
Drone.
Little push up here. Kesnet's going to be forced back by the drone. Usually that's the fight. That's just guiding lights, fault lines, and pushing. But here you have the safety of a drone to keep everyone alive.
It's an Orbital Strike, a fault line, trying to potentially play a contact. It's just quiet. There's no aggression really coming out from Crew so far. It's a fault line and Orbital Strike.
There it is.
Combination, but it's not going to hit anybody.
Wow. So they're really trying to predict what each other are doing.
Yeah.
Like there's so much escape room for an Orbital Strike there, but the teams are so sure of what they're about to run. I love it. You really like to see the confidence in these plays, even if they're not working.
And EG still knows that there's a stack towards this A site because of that owl drone before. Saw that fade, heard the footsteps towards A long, and they also got hit by a fault line out from Davies. Yet they still want to go for this.
That's what I was thinking. They have not turned away from this battle. A rotation slowly coming in. Not a rotation, sorry, that lurk.
Scanning ahead.
As we see Boostio move up.
Hunter's Fury gets the ping, the kill onto Kesnet.
Down A.
And it's left and right, back and forth, a 3 versus 3. Davies inside the site, forcing out Boostio from the aftershock. Oh my God, what a spike transfer from Boostio.
30-second initiation on that. It's exactly what that round was. Not enough information was grabbed after the second re-hit. 30-second hit. 3K Boostio. Stops it. Look at that. Look what I did, Mom!
Looks at a crowd. Did you see that? Did you see that?
Oh, put that one on the fridge. There's a play. 9-7 now for EG. Locked down to a few more ultimates, so EG can force the fake here. But topside, Crew's looking to get antsy, trying to pepper with these sheriffs.
Even if
That's
Mrs.
a pinch.
Boostio's in the chat, she's probably loving that one too.
Yep.
Turrets destroyed.
Speaking of which, Boostio is waiting for just by the ropes, something very standard now as a Killjoy. Saying that there's a push and a pinch coming in from the north side. All of EG now running through for a plant for B main. pretty clean. Pretty easy for this kill. Support coming out. Only one player falling down for the attack side. Davies way behind on a rotate. But definitely doing the econ damage. Dying from Spike. Dying from a player.
Yeah.
Is what he wants. Allowing him to get the Rolling Thunder into the next round. Target mode moving close. And a duel is won here for EG.
All right, so we're at the point where one team lets the other get a few rounds before they come back. Overtime is still here, everyone. No, I'm just kidding. 10-7 here, crew calls the timeout. I'm kind of kidding, okay? Kind of. Only kind of. And yeah, they have to figure something out. 3 rounds down now. They're going to be at max loss, so 3,400 for some of them if they lose this round and don't have guns. This is imperative. EG can roll over the economy into a win pretty easily here if it comes through, especially with the ultimates they might be able to counter with. What are we thinking, Vans? We have had EG pushing some extremities towards satellite. Never really down towards B main, but the arcade hold has been there as well. I don't think crew has really figured out what EG is doing each round enough to then proceed. I like the plays, though. We do see that they're using the orbital strikes to move forward. They're running their own protocols. It's not a situation of them being controlled by EG. It's just I don't think crew is getting the play that they want with the defense they're setting up.
Yeah. EG are definitely slower than crew has been, at least for the first few seconds into the round when the barriers come up. You see the differences there for crew. Instant pushes from arcade. EG, slow defaults. So for me, looking at crew on this defense, trying to get Klaus on this fade to find this information early into round is going to be really important. Where maybe if you don't want to bring this aggression that they're trying to do towards the A side, if they identify an EG push anywhere, this combination of Kesden and Davies could be very, very deadly.
Guarding here.
Keep an eye on comm. How much comm provides for the team here? We heard the devs talking about it, what the darts do, so just under 1 minute and we'll see another recon bolt there. Using it right away to get it back as soon as possible for the information. And not... They're still where they buy guns. Yep. They're actually going to call Boostio back over here, so this may be a turret recall as well.
Bot coming back.
I feel like they're getting pushed down the north side, so they all get together here. Traps are there. Underneath will be for lockdown. Doesn't look like there's any way truly to destroy this right now for the side of crew, so this is just going to be a push out of B. But crew's already rotating around. They could be happy about this.
This is going to be very important. Comm's position right here.
He's been showing up.
It's not being watched. Gets the first kill, so that's no showstopper. Does get the second and support from Demon. The Zoomers and even a lockdown onto Naxid. It becomes a flawless for EG.
How is it always Demon? He is there every time you think somebody's going to be in a sticky situation. Here comes the extra frags from Demon. That's another round we see that happening. Just right place, right time that EG is synergizing their defense and control of the flank. That could have been so big, the way that played out. And there's Demon, cleaning up the last two. Com's calling for more. Let's go!
It's a huge difference from last week when you're watching him smash his desk. Not landing the shots that he wants to this week, getting all of this utility, getting the flank kills, getting that support, even kills on Hunter's Fury.
Yeah.
He's been playing lights out here in this series and continuing to disrupt the A site with his utility.
And a super safe clear from Drone. I think it's one of the big ones because EG's post plants have been a lot stronger. They're getting in the site with more members and they're really working off each other. Previous matches, we saw that EG would be scattered. They lose numbers on the way in and they do not have the imperative utility to end up the post plant for a win. Here, it just seems to all be falling into place. Timings, util, protocols, and moving around crew. This time, crew might have an answer for what's going on with the stack towards B, but it's still just Sheriff's Vansili.
Exactly. The more the time dwindles down,
good nade.
The more it might be doable here with the util and the ult coming out from the defenders. Crew. It's a 4-on-4 as EG still makes it inside the site.
30 seconds
a safe plant. So all of EG have to play in here. Finally, the smoke dissipates. Ethan just holding here with the fault line. That allows Calm to swing out to get the first frag. Being shot down by Davies, forced to fall back, still into security. And now you have the positioning on the pulse plant. Crew's not looking too good here for the retake with the lower weaponry. Pulse range judged, denied. Playing the distance now.
One enemy remaining.
And that's Melzer. Stuck inside the site, leaning out now for the kill. And EG are now at map and series point.
All right, Vansili, one away from locking in their first win at VALORANT Americas for VCT. It's taken a bit. It's taken a reconfiguration of the composition, right? Of who's playing, how they're playing, who can flex onto what.
Enemy remaining.
And just now 1 round away is Crew back onto weapons, 3 ultimates. A decent buy for themselves as well. You can see these last few rounds, just another day at the office for EG. They found a groove. It's for a Crew to now break that groove, pushing down B. A hold by utility coming in from Nags. And the spams are coming out.
On an op on the attack.
Placing alarm bot.
It's a very intriguing one here.
They have money too. It's like, why not try an op round? We can still buy next round. It's like they have coupons on the side of EG right now.
Yeah.
Just so many credits after these wins.
But the thing is, everything's been working so well, and how they were just holding slow,
That's
moving in as a
true.
team with the rifles, and now you're using an operator. But Busio's winning here. Pushing down. Misses the shot. There's a Rolling
save?
Thunder also coming out on the defense side. But it's EG!
They're there!
Fighting back on the Rolling Thunder. And it's a 5 versus 2. Melzer and Nags rotating now towards this B site is only going to be Melzer. Oh, you got to make the heroic play from one smoke to another. Timing out. The miss on the spray.
Bomb grenade out.
And Calm still gets a kill no matter what.
5v1.
This would be the biggest clutch in the VCT
30
history.
seconds left. Planted.
Hunter's Fury 2. Just to find Nags at somewhere. Avoids the third pulse. So sneaks through now from Canteen. Sees a spike in his eyes. But this is just too strong now for EG on the hold. Manages the first kill. And the spray then comes in for Jogimo.
Attackers win.
EG will manage to get their first victory in the VCT Americas.
Locking it in with the newest of compositions, Demon in on the roster as well. Interesting list of players they have now. 4 people on this team can op. I think Ethan's the only one that doesn't pick it up. Like, they actually have a lot of ways to play this, especially with some of the flexes that they do. There's Potter, very happy about her team. Everybody on the EG squad feeling this win. And damn, did Crew put up one hell of a fight. Seeing how well that they came together, restructured their attack rounds to play around EG. But that's one of the big points is they couldn't find a way around EG. The last round shows that. EG walked right into where Crew is, are able to save Boostio with the op, and 3 are there for the backup. They're always following their opponents, and it finally pays off with the timing, the util, and the win.
Yeah, you bring an interesting point, definitely. They have an interesting roster. 10 players under the helm of EG, maybe even an 11th player with how Wingman has played on that first very map here for EG. But at the same time, we haven't seen too much of Crew in this third map. So not only did you have to play with a new player, a rookie coming in from Demon 1, you're going to have to try to make that fit into your playstyle.
Yeah.
He steps up at 17, 8, and 8 on top of that, and still has to on the fly. Think about this man right here, Boostio as the IGL, having to figure out how Crew comes in as a new comp, a new play, and they adapted to that quite well to get this victory. It's almost like with these 10 players, looking at 3 of them right here, have Jet experience. It's almost like looking at a Korean roster being built there with a bunch of cracked Jet players that mixes well into now flex agents.
It's so true. And to talk about Demon 1, that's the kind of player you want to see be able to be shifted into a team. taking his own plays into his own hands, pushing forward on the jet, being able to go into a smoking controller mode and still be able to frag out, knowing that the controller stays alive quite a bit. The jet goes forward. That's two completely different mindsets. You have to be able to break those two apart. Demon One, no problem being able to do that. And we see the team getting their first win here. To speak to Crew, to that point, anybody's game still, right? It was the last few rounds of the last half where we had these teams separate 13-11 for both of our previous maps. This another hell of a series here in VCT Americas.
What the hell does this mean now for the rankings too, right? EG beating Crew almost taking
Sideshow's not here, we don't know.
Exactly. But hopefully we'll see what he has to say later on this weekend. But at least now we have a break, and when we come back, the post-match interview from Verizon and also the desk to break down the series.
Welcome back to the Verizon post-match interview. I'm standing by with Com, who just came off of his very first win in VCT Americas. Now, bro, I imagine it was an enormous sigh of relief to get that dub on the stage, but I would love to get your thoughts specifically. What does that win mean to you?
It's huge for the energy of this team. I mean, going into our first two matches, obviously losing those games hurt a lot, especially we saw all our glaring issues, but I think in this game we really showed that we've really evolved and we're starting to really get this thing going, and obviously gives us momentum for the rest of the season.
you touched on something. You noticed some of the glaring issues. You were able to identify some of kind of what was going wrong. Can you give me a little bit more insight into that? What was addressed that led to the difference on stage today?
I think it was just like anti-ecos. I mean, we would like throw like 5v4s or 5v3s, and we have this thing called fundamentals.
Yeah.
Make sure you have good fundies, and I think since we've implemented all that, it's like we're not losing as many. Obviously, lost one today, but other than that, it's been good.
I would love to get your thoughts on this too. Getting your first win, getting in on stage. The crowd was still incredibly supportive of you, of the squad.
Yep.
What does that mean to you to have the support, given the tumultuous 2 weeks that it's been and kind of everything that's gone on?
Yeah, I mean, obviously went through roster changes and a lot of stuff going on. And, you know, for me personally, I feel like I got a lot of hate towards me. And I think this game, especially coming from last week to this week, really showed like the mental fortitude of this team, and especially like just all the people around, energy.
And then the very last question I have for you, you mentioned the mental fortitude of the squad. Can you give me a little bit of insight on what that was like? Preparation for this week, what was the mental like? How was that leading into this series?
I think it was more, don't play so rigid and play with nothing to lose. I mean, if we try to be perfect, then ultimately, like, you'll get exploited in that sort of way. And I think we didn't be perfect, but we were super decisive today, and that's showed in the server.
You walked away with a win. Again, an important one, a first one. Congratulations on the dub. Let's throw it back to Dash at the desk to close out the day.
Thank you so much, Doug, and great to hear directly from the EG squad in their first victory here on the stage at VCT Americas. But what a series overall. 13-11, 13-11. EG finds that extra gear on the third and final map, which we said really could be anyone's game, and it nets them their first victory, and boom, a little shot up the standings.
Yeah, I mean, it must feel good. Definitely maybe the scrappiest series that we've seen so far, but it's super, super fun to watch. Super fun to see both these teams kind of try to find their footing, find their foundation, and kind of like come together as a team and have that firepower and pure brawliness that they just completely brought out in every single one of these maps.
I think my optimism has returned.
Okay.
That EG optimism I had like in lock-in, where I was like, wow, this team's actually better than I thought. They won their opening series. Things are going great. That's how I feel right now. I feel like this version of EG was what I thought we would get at the start of VCT Americas. They looked so good today. And like you said, in those scrappy, chaotic moments, that Fracture map, I mentioned previous on Fracture, they lost both pistols. They did it again today, and they won 13-7. That was pretty impressive.
That's improvement right there. And this victory in the face of doubt, in the face of criticism and questioning about this roster move right here. Demon 1 slotting in, plays 3 different agents. We heard about the Jet. We knew that he had that up his sleeve, and damn did he deliver on that pick. But the Killjoy as well?
And a Brim?
And a Brim?
3 classes. I mean,
wow, what are we doing over here?
Next week. That's insane.
What a debut.
It's an insane debut for Demon 1. Like, huge props to him, and massive props to Potter for taking the risk and doing that. Because she got a lot of flack all week long, and look what happened. I mean, the kid played phenomenally well on 3 different roles. She did everything that the community hated her for doing, and it paid off.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine the tough position you're in as a coach, right?
Yeah.
To know that, to a degree, you're staking a lot of your career credibility on the line for this move. It pays off in such a huge way. You see what it means for the team. They talk about momentum rolling forward now at this point, recapturing some of the magic that you saw from them in lock-in. And that brings us to our standings here at the close of day 2 of week 3. We only have one more bout to go, and it's at the top of the table between those 2 undefeated teams. And now we have a pack of 2-1s, a pack of 1-2s, and unfortunately for Crew, still yet to find that first dub here on the VCT Americas stage. And I asked you guys the question off screen when it comes to that Crew team, sitting at 0-3, are they even the worst, quote-unquote, worst team in the league? It's hard for me to say because so many of their matchups have felt so close and on the edge of victory.
I just feel like our region is stacked. I really do. I feel like all of these teams in our region can compete and maybe beat each other on a given day. But at the same time, Crew, I wouldn't favor them against any of these teams. Can they beat them? Sure they can. But I mean, this was one they probably should have walked away with today. And I think they're going to hang their heads pretty low.
Yeah.
Now, everyone at home would be an absolute fool to miss tomorrow's matchup between Furia and Loud. It's 2-0 versus 2-0 Athena. I just want to hand it to you for some quick thoughts, a little appetizer for tomorrow on these two teams.
I mean, tomorrow is going to be absolutely insane. It is going to be mind-blowing. I am so excited for tomorrow. Both these teams have such insane firepower, such insane aggression, such insane understanding of how to set themselves up as a team and play together with that teamwork. And it's really going to come down to like small little micro plays to see which team comes on top. Like, it's going to be really fun. I'm not 100% sure about the map pool, but I know the maps are going to be insane.
Sean, I don't know if you caught the power ranking segment that we did yesterday with Sideshow, in which we compared the week 1 power rankings that Brandon Mimi had put up to what he thought here in week 3/week 3.5. And without even seeing these two teams play against each other, he decided to flip-flop and put Furia in the #1 spot. What do you make of that?
I think that's a really risky play because in these regional matchups, it's like little bro versus big bro when it comes to Loud, and they have that mental edge. And I think if the game gets close, I favor Loud in a series like that against Furia.
Gotcha.
But Furia, they definitely got that dog in them. They have a puncher's chance against anyone.
They got that cat in them.
They are, they got the cat in them. They're crazy aggressive, and they have the strategy that Loud has as well. So it's just whether those players are on individual form tomorrow. It is going to be it's going to be such a good match.
Well, that's all the precursor we need. We're set for an absolute battle tomorrow on the stage between Loud and Furia. That's going to do it for us today. So go ahead and check out our Prime Gaming post-day highlights as we hit the lights on the studio. We'll catch you back here, same time, same place. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other, all right? Good night. It's a battle between 1-1 teams, and for a winning record here in the standings of VCT Americas Sentinels versus Leviathan. Both teams still trying to find their identity and put their stamp on the league.
High-low setup, span onto the angle, Mazzino, spray transfer. It's immaculate. The shorty does the job, just trying to wade right into it, and none of the util has been cleaned up yet, Dev. Crosshair placement's good for one, still finds it, flick of the wrist, and it is good, util in his hands, finds it, a target, and that's the ace! Bit of spam, seeing if they can find a kill onto the Viper would be beautiful for them. Tens, it's cleaned up. That's Leviathan claiming map #1.
What a great finish out. Looking very clean in overtime there for Leviathan.
Yep, left click from Def, soon off the alarm bot. Yep, there it is, and a re-swing. Beautiful trap play, love to see it. Paranor in the face of Pancada. Run and gun does it, Spike Plant will get a bit of extra money. It needs to be favored. This is so aggressive. Wide out in the open. Short is traded away! The map's secured, and second is the man to do it. Sticking it, spamming it down, need to break it all the way through. No one's dealing with King, and he just sticks it through. Patience, patience, patience pays off. 2 kills, rifle gain, a bit of an upgrade, and what is that? Sprays them down. 13-4 to finalize it. What a performance on the final map here for Leviathan.
Both teams enter winless, but one of them will leave today with a tick in the win column, and they will begin their climb up the standing against Crew Esports up against Evil Geniuses.
But then becomes a 2 versus 1. Wingman to assist the spray, at least a half onto Nagzit, and it's a half defuse for Klaus.
Vamos.
And then dashing forward, but traded off by Joggible. Cleans up more kills around the cove.
Okay.
That's his own ring right there.
Quick flash.
And a blind, but Joggible's there for the same dude. EG comes back into the first map, and they win it, 13-11. There's a gap in that smoke. Finally, Lucio's gonna walk in. Demon 1 with the support. Oh my gosh. Crew definitely okay, just waiting the clock out. And Ethan's wide swings, no daggers coming in. It's Kesnet once again. Oh my gosh. Nagzet towards the back of the site once again, just being a nuisance. And there is Nagzet to help Crew to push this into the third map here on Fracture. There's only 14 seconds left on the clock. The drop comes down, looking for the second. The spike falls.
Let's go, baby.
Davies inside the site, forcing out Lucio from the undershot.
Holy, am I cheating?
EG will manage to get their first victory in the VCT Americas.